We are on this afternoon with a wonderful actress. You know her as Major and later Colonel Kira Nerys on Star Trek Deep Space Nine. She also has a host of other credits, including Dark Angel, Wildfire, the reimagined Battlestar Galactica. That one was one of my favorites. Friday the 13th, Frasier, so many more. I am pleased and honored to welcome Nana Visitor to the inaugural of the Blue Report Backstage. Nana, welcome.
Thank you so much.
We really appreciate you taking some time for us. And I was just telling you a little bit ago that when we announced that you were going to be our first interview, we had questions coming out of the woodwork from fans.
Excellent.
First question, one of mine is, were you a sci-fi fan before your role as Colonel Kira?
You know, in my life, there was I didn't know the term sci-fi fan. Did I watch Star Trek? Oh yeah, but it was just one of the things that I looked forward to. I'd watch it before I went to work every day. It was on Channel 9, I believe, here in New York City at 6 o'clock, and so I'd watch it and get out to the theater in time for a half hour.
Cool. You know, Kira was as tough as they come. Where did you find the strength to play her so spot on?
There are plenty of people in my life that would just laugh at you right now and go, oh, God, if only she was less confrontational. But there's certainly a spark in me. It was in my mother. It has nothing to do with our size or our abilities, but a certain thing that, you know, it's just backing down isn't something I like to do.
One of our fan-submitted questions, and I'm actually interested to know this as well, what did you like most about your mirror character on Deep Space Nine?
What I liked the most was delving into psychologically what was the exact opposite of Kira. I love that kind of question and problem and package to unwrap. And that was the best part, and also the challenge to play her and not tip it to the point where she became ridiculous, and always remain a threatening character. That was really my favorite part of it.
You guys got to delve into the mirror universe more than any other series in Star Trek. Did you guys really enjoy getting to turn it on its ear like that?
Absolutely. And when Alexander Siddig played the James Bond character, and I know you know what I mean by that.
Yes.
So much that it got us into trouble with the Broccoli people, who were the producers of James Bond, and we couldn't do anymore. They stopped making them. I think that was going to be a reoccurring theme of him as a secret agent, and I loved that show. Oh my God, that was so fun and silly to play. If anyone as an actor ever gets to make an appearance from a hidden circular bed, I think they take the opportunity because it's so silly and so fun.
I had not heard that they told him he wasn't allowed to do that anymore.
Yeah, they told the writers, no, we back right off of that, or we'll come at you.
Yeah, I can imagine they were like, okay.
Yeah, of course.
What was it like to be on a Star Trek show that was on a station instead of exploring?
The main effect of that was that we didn't have a good amount of the fan base behind us, and we knew it. We knew we were the black sheep, that they wanted us to be explorers. But the biggest, any journey outward is equal to the journey inward, and I think that that's kind of what we explored.
And it's interesting that you say that, because now so many years later, when you're asking people, what is your favorite series? Most people will say Deep Space Nine, and then they'll come off with one of the other ones. I know that's how it is for me.
It's definitely a change, and Netflix has had a lot to do with that. I think, and to see young men, like 14 years old, coming up to me at conventions and saying, wow, I loved your character. I love your character so much. And I know that they're seeing it, second, third, fourth time around. And it's, I'm glad. I'm happy. I think it probably speaks to these times more than it did to the time it was we were doing it. And whenever, that's fine. We kind of knew we were doing something important, and we also knew that people weren't going to take it that way at that point. I'm just glad we got to do 7 years of it.
It was, yeah, I'll tell you. Are you happy the way the show ended?
Yes. Yes and no. There are plenty of things that I would have liked to have seen. I would have liked to have seen more time. I could imagine doing Kira a lot longer. But from my storyline, yes, I think it was the right one, that Renee and that Odo and Kira go back to their world. I thought very often Odo and Kira showed what, real gritty, true love is, not the hearts and flowers kind.
What was your favorite episode?
My favorite episode, and I'm sure people get tired of hearing me say this, but it's Duet. The writing, unbelievable. There were no special effects. There was no huge cast. It was just, it was an exploration of racism that I thought was beautifully done.
What was your hardest episode to make?
I would say Tribbles was hard. I was barely in it, which I was so upset about, but I was in labor during my scenes. I was trying to be I was trying to be too brave about being pregnant and on set. I didn't want anyone getting me a chair. I didn't want anyone treating me any differently. I didn't want it to interrupt my fierceness. And I remember having to, kneel down, going, wow, okay, all right, going on and finishing the scene. I was in labor.
Wow. That's dedication.
Some might call it stupidity, but, there's a certain level of that being an actor or any kind of artist anyway, I think.
I'm married, so I'm going to call it dedication.
Good for you.
Jerry Ryan always complained about the uniform on Voyager, claiming it was uncomfortable and slightly degrading. Do you feel the same way about yours, or do you feel it was important given that the guys on the set also had to wear tight uniforms, or was it just sex appeal for space?
If I didn't have the opportunity to be an ugly personality, to be wrong, to lie, to have real spiritual crises, then I would say, yeah, you know what? The uniform, the whole treatment was a problem. But it didn't, in the end, it just doesn't matter what I was wearing because they let me be a complete, fully evolved, sentient being.
Has there been any talk about reprising your role in a sequel series or a feature film?
No, never. There was like this call from above when we were doing the show going, you will never do movies. So we were like, yeah, no, we're never doing movies. And when we go to conventions and people would ask me, no, never doing them. So I don't know exactly why or how that came about, but we always just kind of knew that that wasn't in the cards. Armin Shimmerman got to do something, but I don't know why.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, they've written so many great books after the end of the series that you figure they could have come up with something.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure they did all kinds of studies and figured out it's cheaper, better, make more money to do it another way.
Sad, I'll tell you that right now. That's my own opinion. That's just not right. Moving away from the series, I understand you made quite a few appearances at conventions, like you mentioned. What is that like for you?
It used to be completely overwhelming and leave me like a wet rag, because I felt like I was taking in. I always felt like the point of the convention isn't so much for people to see me as for me to see them and to hear what the show meant to them, what they felt about it, and to look into their eyes and go, okay, I get it. I see you. You spent a lot of time with me in different aspects in your life, different moods, and now here I am, and I'm going to see you. And just psychically, that was exhausting. I guess I've gotten better at it because it doesn't take it out of me so much as it used to. And oh my God, I feel like I am, in fact, very often traveling to another continent to see old friends.
Can you share an instance where you might have bonded with a fan emotionally, something they said to you?
There are so many instances, but there's a group of people who turn up to places I'm in, and they've dwindled to a tight group of about 10, and they know just about everything about me, and I do about them, and it's one of those bonds that, you just know you have each other's backs. And it's so funny, for years and years, they would just show up, they'd talk, they'd have relationships with each other and talk to me maybe 5 minutes, until finally I started sitting down and going, well, let's have a drink, let's have lunch. And what I'm trying to say is that they made absolutely they never made me feel like I owed them anything. And so it's this thing that's happened over 20 years of, seeing them through their lives, through different passages, and them seeing me that way.
You've been really busy since DS9's ending. What is it about acting that ensnared you?
I would say the first thing that ensnared me was an ability on stage to feel absolutely present, to be able to stop time for yourself, because you are feeling every atom of your being in a particular moment. And trust me, meditators know this. It's as powerful as a drug. And I felt on stage an incredible acceptance, willingness to be seen, to expose myself as the weaknesses and strengths that I am. And it took me a while to be able to feel that way on film, but I got to feel that way on film as well, and that was what I loved. I don't love sitting in a banger waiting to work. I don't love being in makeup at 5 a.m. I don't love all the things around it, and some of the people sometimes that the business attracts for the wrong reasons, or for their own reasons. What am I judging? And I'm pretty much a person who likes to stay by herself for the most part. So all the stuff that goes along with being an actor isn't my favorite part. I just recently found out how to stop time like that outside of work. And, when you don't need work as much, or you don't need it in the same way, it gets much more interesting. So I feel like my work is going to become much more interesting in the future.
What are the differences between acting on a traditional drama series versus that of a science fiction show?
Science fiction show, our show it's just longer. You also have to realize that you're facing the end of a planet or a species just about every show. So you have to be kind of like a New York City policeman in terms of and I don't mean this politically because of what's been happening lately, but I just mean you need to be toughened to the realities of the world and other people's suffering. You need to have a clear eye about those things. When science fiction becomes funny to me is when people overreact. That's when it becomes science opera, and that just doesn't work. You can't start screaming and crying, because the world's going to blow up. You have to do something about it.
I understand we're going to see you on the big screen this year in Ted 2?
Yes. Oh my God. Seth MacFarlane is one of. I'm so enamored of his work. I don't like raunchy humor, frankly.
Yeah.
But I have never seen someone so talented in my life. If everyone could experience working in a scene with 5 characters, and it's just you and Seth MacFarlane, you know what I'm saying? He's doing 4 people, and it's as if it's seamless. He's unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it, and I'm a huge fan of his.
What else have you got going on?
I've written, actually, I've not told anyone this yet. I've written a play, and I'm going to start doing readings of it in the spring, and a 2-person play, and see what happens with it. But it's very exciting to me because I've always written, but I've never organized it into a play before.
Definitely have to keep an ear out for that one. I'll tell you that right now.
Thank you. Thank you.
I was looking on your website yesterday, and one of the things you like to do is one of the things I like to do, and that is cooking. You put cooking videos on your website. Where did that idea come from?
Cooking has been a part of my life because of my mother. She was an unbelievable cook. I mean, when I tell you we had 5-course meals every night, I'm not kidding. And she did it effortlessly, and she did it with so much love that it's definitely been one of the ways I show my family love and a reason to gather around the table. I mean, if you're going to gather around the table, it might as well be incredible food.
Is there somewhere where people can find your favorite recipes?
You know what? I had, when I was living in New Mexico, I had a blog, and I had a catering company and a bakery called Un Petit Morceau, and it was a blog spot, unpetitmorceau.blogspot.com. But when I left New Mexico, I left the blog. It just didn't feel the same to me. I didn't have a garden that I was getting my vegetables out of anymore, and my herbs, and just life changed. I'm living in New York City now, and my passion has become the play. I still cook, of course. Oh my God, I'm telling you, it is so worth getting one of those silly vegetable things that makes chips. Those.
Yeah.
I got one of those things, and we had last night beer and homemade potato chips with blue cheese dip. It was so good. It is so worth it making your own potato chips. Oh my gosh. Yeah, definitely do that.
Is there somewhere online that people can keep up with what you're doing?
Well, I love to tweet, so I'm on Twitter @NanaVisitor, and I also I should have a Facebook page, but I'm just on Facebook, and I have a lot of friends, and once in a while I'll throw out a recipe there or on my Twitter account.
That is awesome. Well, Nana, thank you so much for being with us today. We certainly appreciate it, and much success to you in the future.
Thank you so much. And to you too.